look into the political volatility in Meghalaya, where almost every second party is claiming that they're expecting new members in the form of sitting legislators, be it the NPP, the Regional United Democratic Party, or the Trinamool Congress. There is suspense everywhere, with each claiming to enjoy the advantage. So can we expect large-scale changes in the ranks of parties in the coming months? Does the NPP enjoy the advantage by being the ruling party? Is UDP a popular choice too, as it is a key ally in the MDA? Finally, is the continuous speculation over party hopping leaving the voters a confused lot? David Lightflang, you must have heard in the last few days that the UDP President Medba Lyngdoh claiming that 4 to 5 sitting legislators will join the party. We have the NPP claiming that at least 3 of the current Congress legislators will join the NPP. We have had the Trinamool Congress leader Mukul Sangma saying something is on the cards as far as the AITC is concerned as well. So what are we to make out of all this?
Well, there's nothing much to make out of all of this, Nabarun. Everybody is confused as me, as you, and obviously so. To answer the last question first, the people of Meghalaya, the electorate, and uh, everybody actually, the general public, are really in a state of confusion. One, as you rightly said, everybody is leaving the party for another party today to rejoin another party or to return. There are claims and counterclaims, which you have expanded just now. And so obviously it's a confused situation taking place. One thing that's kind of really funny, like we were just discussing today amongst a couple of us journalists, is that most of these, jumping ship and going there and coming here and soliciting, the media is effectively being used to relay that message. But when you go to any party leader. For instance, a group of journalists, colleagues today sought to get some inputs and some clear perception on the UDP's, the status and the happenings within the rank and file of UDP, vis-a-vis what the party president recently commented. But then none of the MLAs are willing to talk, or the senior leaders are there to talk. So most of the time, everybody's left to speculate or to try and connect the dots and the I's by virtue of information being filtered down from the rank and file. That, in one way, I think, is leading more to confusion to the people. The legislators, the party candidate contenders, all of these are having an actual laugh at the expense of the poor people, because the poor people don't know what's happening. They're confused. In the night time, this guy was there. Tomorrow afternoon, he's somewhere else. So obviously, and there is nobody or no party president to come out clear and say, okay, so this week we have 5 guys from the Congress coming to UDP, or the TMC, the present TMC lot, some of them are going to go and join the NPP. Come up with names, specifics. Then it makes it interesting. But over here, it's like, hearsay. In a bit, people are just going to get fed up. That is one. Number two is with elections around the corner, almost I would say around the corner, say by June, July, we will see Shillong becoming a little more quiet, because all the legislators will be back at their camps. Then perhaps we may get a semblance of a little bit of clarity of towards where we're heading. But if I have to be honest, I am honest, presently the situation favors the NPP, the ruling NPP. It favors the National People's Party, because amongst everything, the press club is actually near the NPP's official headquarters.
Very near.
So we often witness whatever happens there. There are more entries into the party, more welcome. This former MLA, that former MDC, this sitting, and that, all of that. There's more activity which is visible to the people. So then, from what people say at the ground level, is that the NPP is on a roll. So whoever feels like joining the band bandwagon is
Now,
going. That
before
is actually happening at reality. On the other side is claims and counterclaims.
before coming to my next question, we'll listen to this reaction from Dr. Mukul Sangma. Let's listen to Dr. Mukul Sangma. He gave an exclusive reaction to Northeast Live today. Let's listen into what he had to say.
A report is doing the speculation that you are joining the Congress once again. What do you have to say on it?
I think you have to go by what is the actual indication. Don't go by rumor. If you get swayed by somebody's, fabricated news, then it's up to you to see whether you compromise the credibility of your media. So I think I will suggest to all friends from media, irrespective of what the rumor mongers are attempting to engage, it is important for every media houses to really filter and to ensure that news carried also reflects the credibility of that media house.
There are also reports that out of the 5 Congress MLAs in Meghalaya, 3 are in talks with the NPP and they are likely to join the NPP, including Amparin Lingdo, according to sources. What do you have to say?
I will tell you that they are talking with everybody. Okay?
Now, that was TMC leader and former Chief Minister Mukul Sangma. They are clarifying that he is not rejoining the Congress. All the speculations are fabricated and baseless. Now, that is not the question. The question is, how did it come to this that Mukul Sangma has to clarify that he is not rejoining the Congress? There have been a lot of speculations going on. There have been late night calls, people calling, is it true? Is Mukul again going to the Congress? That was the buzz across Shillong yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. How did it happen? I mean, why this?
No, it's not that. Actually, the buzz is something else. The buzz was about 3 days ago that the ruling MDA dispensation is all set to collapse because the all the non-NPP parties had decided to team up, and there will be a party held overnight. This was circulated widely on WhatsApp, and it was speculated that there would be a late night party where it was just going to be decided, like just to formalize, but the who will be the CM, deputy CM, ministers, everything was sorted out, elaborate lists, portfolio and all. I mean, not portfolio, but the ministers' allotment were named and all, party wise. So that was kind of
That
doing all
sounds
the
very
rounds.
far-fetched, though, I
That's
must
it.
say.
A total. So it was basic. That's why coming back to what I said earlier, because these leaders, the legislators, the party functionaries, the party spokespersons are not being honest to the public, to the electorate. They're not saying, they're just murmuring, they're dropping names. So obviously all this thing, all this rubbish, all this gossip and rumors are bound to happen. It's bound to happen, and obviously, when rumors become kind of a little more repeated, especially during within this social media world, you have to clarify. You can't just keep quiet.
But do you again think that somehow or the other there may be a feeling that the decision of Dr. Mukul Sangma to join the TMC was a bit hurried, probably was not needed at that point in time, or maybe could have taken some other decision, could have taken some other step? Is there such a feeling? Because is there a question of acceptability when it comes to the TMC as far as Meghalaya is concerned? I mean, you yourself said that, well, Garo Hills, of course, Mukul Sangma is a tall leader and has his clout in Garo Hills, but when it comes to Khasi Jaintia Hills, probably the TMC tag would not help. So is the TMC facing an acceptability issue in Meghalaya?
That's a neat. I mean, that's a not that. Well, I would say it's a tough question, but I'll be honest. I'd be lying if I said that it's all walk in the garden for the TMC. Yes, its entry has been rather sparkling. Okay, it came in with a bang, and it has also made its intentions clear that we are here to stay. They've opened shop, they've started functioning, they're consolidating different units and everything else. So, I would very, very assuredly, I think, feel and say that it is not a fly-by-night operator. We have had those. We have had a lot of political parties. They will come next year. We will have, I won't name, but we will have parties from the various parts of the country coming and putting up one or two candidates. That's there. But TMC doesn't fall under that bracket or fly-by-night operator kind of a thing. But then, yes, it is going to face a stiff challenge, acceptability, many things. Uh, but we cannot discount it. We cannot say that, no, it's completely gone. No, I really would not want to venture into even guessing like that. We have to give credit due. The leaders of the TMC who left the Congress and joined the TMC are good people. Uh, I don't think there's anything much to talk about them. They're responsibly adult and mature and seasoned legislators. So it's got a good lot, and the team that they're forming seems good. But we don't know. Things are
And
so dynamic right now. We don't know what's going to happen.
in all this, do you think the Congress remains as beleaguered as ever with virtually no MLAs? Technically, they have 5 MLAs, but you know, literally they have none probably in their ranks. So the Congress remains at the bottom of the graph of the pyramid. Do you think?
I'm very, very sorry because I have, Congress is like everybody says, grand old party. So a journalist like me would be knowing a lot of Congress workers. And Meghalaya having been dominantly ruled by the Congress, obviously, So there are a lot of friends in the Congress party. Some have quit, some have remained, some have just decided to say, politics is enough for me. you know and so I feel sorry for it, but I have to admit, see, you can't lie to yourself. I keep on telling everyone, don't fool yourself. At least let's fool the world, but don't fool yourself. There's no more, there are no leaders, and the remaining five, because I wrote that story, the remaining five were like what Ampreen, in her response, Ampreen Lingdo, what did she say when I asked her how she felt now that the AICC has decided to suspend the legislators? To my utter shock and surprise, she said, what suspension? Because we were served a suspension order way back in January and then a show cause notice to which we, after discussion, chose not to respond. So I think the next step is expulsion, but you're telling me it's suspension, so I don't know. Whereas the party president, Mr. Vincent Pala, said that he is yet to be informed by the AICC of such a decision, and all that he knew was that they had submitted a report to the High Command stating that the MLAs had not responded to the show cause. So you see, all of these bantering and making all of this, I mean, but there's nothing in the ground as far as I can tell you. I don't want to discount and make the remaining Congress supporters or workers feel disheartened, but I mean, we have to face it. I just pray and hope that they come back together and better days lie ahead for them. After all, it is the grand old party.
My last question to you, do voters in Meghalaya have to wait till as late as probably December or January to figure out, till post-Christmas to figure out who is in which party? Well, it seems that way at this moment.
When you talk about that, a small anecdote, it's actually really happening. Uh, there is a constituency in the heart of Shillong, which is a very sought after constituency, prestigious constituency. But there is one particular candidate who, in this 1 year or so, or maybe a year and a half, lockdown onwards, has actually told his would be constituents, first time constituents, that he would contest from now the third party. First, it started with the Congress, very faithfully, royally Congress. Then it went on to the TMC, and then now I believe it's the BJP. So the people, the constituents in that constituency are like confused. Hey, dude, next, where are you going to go? UDP? Khnam? But oops. So the people are definitely confused with these type of people who are educated, who are learned. If they go around, I mean, telling people, hey, today I'm this, tomorrow I'm that, then what about the rural folk? They are obviously in utter confusion. And it looks like then at the end of the day, probably money will play. You get confused, you get tired, no? You don't know. So it's going to be interesting to be
Well,
fought online,
we
social
can
media, everything.
we can just hope that good sense prevails and people's issues should be addressed. Let the best party win, but definitely the candidates should be focused on their people, the people who vote them to power every time. That is most important. That's a wrap of Bottom Line tonight. Thank you so much, David Lightflang, for your valuable inputs.